There's something oddly nostalgic about the sound of an ice cream truck rolling down your street. That cheerful jingle, the promise of a sweet treat on a hot date, feels harmless, almost comforting. But what if that familiar sound was hiding something sinister? What if behind that smiling driver and colorful paint, there was something dark waiting for the right moment to strike? In this video, we bring you 3 terrifying ice cream truck horror stories, each animated to pull you deeper into the chilling details. These aren't your typical ghost tales. They're inspired by real-life fears and creepy encounters that will make you think twice the next time you hear that tune outside your window. From a lonely neighborhood where kids started disappearing, one by one, to a midnight ice cream run that turned into a nightmare, these stories are more than just fiction. They're a reminder that horror can hide behind the most innocent faces. You'll meet characters like Mia, a curious teenager who followed the sound of the truck a little too far, Jay, a delivery boy who saw something he was never meant to see, and a group of friends whose summer evening turned into a fight for survival. Each tale brings its own twist, suspense, and a chilling end you won't forget. So grab a blanket, maybe skip that late-night ice cream, and get ready to dive into the dark side of something we all thought was safe. These are the 3 ice cream truck horror stories animated to haunt your night. It started in a quiet suburban neighborhood just after school let out for summer break. The sun was hot, the days felt long, and the ice cream truck became a familiar sound every evening around 6. At first, nobody thought much of it. Parents waved from porches, kids lined up with their change, and the man behind the wheel, an older guy with a cap pulled low, hardly spoke. He just handed out cones with a nod and drove off, the same cheerful jingle playing every time. Mia had lived on that street her whole life, and like most teenagers, she wasn't interested in the ice cream truck anymore. But something felt different. This summer, the truck didn't just come once, it started showing up at strange hours, sometimes late at night when the streets were empty. Once Mia thought she saw it parked in front of the old burned-out house 2 blocks over, its engine idling in the dark. When she told her mom, she brushed it off. Probably just turning round, she said, but Mia couldn't shake the feeling. At the same time, Jay, who worked part-time delivering groceries, noticed something weird too. A few of his regular customers, mostly elderly people who lived alone, had stopped answering the door. No one had seen them around, and every time he rode past the park near the community center, he swore he heard that ice cream truck music, even when no truck was in sight. It was subtle, creepy, like a warning that no one had figured out yet. A week later, things took a darker turn. Mia's friend Donnie, who lived across the street, didn't show up at the pool like they planned. At first, Mia figured she'd just gotten busy or forgotten, but by nightfall, her messages were still unread. Donnie's parents were away on a trip, and her older brother said he hadn't seen her since the night before. That night, Mia stayed up, restless. Just past midnight, she heard the faint, off-key jingle of the ice cream truck. She rushed to her window, heart pounding. The truck was parked just down the street, headlights off, engine running. And then it started moving slow, steady, turning the corner and vanishing without a sound. Meanwhile, Jay couldn't ignore the pattern anymore. Every person who'd gone quiet recently had lived along the same few blocks the truck always passed. He brought it up to his coworker Tanya, who dismissed it at first but grew uneasy when he showed her the map he'd drawn. All the disappearances lined up. "It's like a route," she muttered. "But why would an ice cream truck be running it?" Jay didn't have an answer, but the more he looked into it, the more he noticed strange online posts, people in other towns describing late-night trucks, missing pets, even lost kids, all sounding eerily familiar. Back in Mia's neighborhood, whispers started. Parents were telling their kids not to go out after dark. A few people tried calling the police, but by the time an officer showed up, the truck was always gone, like it never existed. Mia couldn't stop thinking about the truck, the way it moved, the timing, and how Donnie had vanished just after it passed by their street. She started tracking it, writing down the times it appeared, the streets it turned on, even the exact seconds the jingle would loop. It was always the same melody, but sometimes it played just slightly slower, like it was dragging. One night, with her heart racing, she decided to follow it on her bike. She stayed far enough back to avoid being seen, but close enough to keep it in view. The truck didn't stop at any houses, it just drove in slow circles, weaving through the neighborhood like it was searching for something, or someone. At the same time, Jay and Tanya were digging deeper. They found an old article buried in a forgotten online forum. It told the story of a town across the state where kids had gone missing over 10 years ago. Witnesses mentioned a truck with faded cartoon characters, music that didn't sound right, and a driver who never spoke. The case was closed with no answers. Jay's stomach dropped. The photo in the article looked almost identical to the truck in their town. That night, both Jay and Mia made the same decision without knowing the other was doing the same. Jay grabbed a flashlight and a small camera. Mia took her phone and a pocket knife from her dad's tool drawer. The truck came again, slower this time, like it knew it was being watched. This time, they were ready to confront it, but neither of them knew what was really waiting inside. The truck turned down a narrow alley behind the old school building, its lights flickering as if struggling to stay on. Mia followed from a distance, heart thudding in her chest, her phone gripped tightly. She kept the shadows, barely breathing. As the truck rolled to a stop, she crouched behind a dumpster, just feet away. The music finally cut off, replaced by total silence. Then the back doors creaked open. At the same time, Jay had parked his bike near the edge of the woods on the opposite side of town. The truck had been seen circling here too, always just before someone went missing. His camera was rolling, light fixed on the tree line, but when the music started, it didn't come from the road, it came from behind him. He spun around. The ice cream truck was already there, parked just meters away. It hadn't made a sound, no tires, no engine, just suddenly there, as if it had materialized out of nowhere. Back at the alley, Mia watched in disbelief as someone climbed out, not the driver, but Donnie. Her clothes were torn, her face pale, eyes wide with panic. Before Mia could call out, the driver stepped down behind her, tall, wearing that same low cap, face hidden in shadows. But then came the twist Mia hadn't expected. Donnie looked directly at her and slowly shook her head, mouthing something Mia couldn't understand. The driver turned toward Mia's hiding spot. And just like that, the jingle started again. But this time it was playing in reverse. Mia's breath caught as the driver turned it, slow and deliberate, the jingle still playing backward like a warning. She wanted to run, but her legs wouldn't move. Donnie mouthed again, clearer this time, "Don't move." The driver stepped closer, eyes still hidden, and suddenly, the truck's interior lights flickered on. For a brief second, Mia saw the inside rows of melted toys, cracked mirrors, and dozens of old photographs pinned to the walls. Some were of kids, others looked much older, like they had been taken decades ago. Jay, meanwhile, had taken cover behind a thick tree. He aimed his flashlight at the truck's license plate, but it was blank. The driver didn't come out this time. Instead, the truck's lights turned red, and the jingle warped into a high-pitched screeching loop. That's when Jay saw his reflection in the truck's side panel, but not from now. It was him, younger, wearing a hoodie he hadn't owned in years, standing with a confused smile. The truck knew him. It had been watching long before he noticed. Back in the alley, Donnie suddenly lunged forward, grabbing Mia's hand and pulling her into the dark just as the driver reached the dumpster. They ran until the truck was nothing more than a whisper behind them. Jay made it to the main road, dialing Mia's number. Their stories matched. The truck wasn't just haunted, it was choosing people, remembering them. But the final twist came the next morning. Every camera, every phone, every recording they had, all blank, no footage, no sound. And yet, parked just across from Mia's house, was a brand new ice cream truck. Same jingle, different face behind the wheel. Mia didn't sleep that night, neither did Jay. They met the next morning at the park bench where it all began, trying to make sense of what happened. Donnie was safe, now shaken but alive. She couldn't remember everything, just flashes of cold metal, strange whispers, and the sound of that jingle playing over and over. Her parents took her out of town by noon. Mia and Jay filed reports, but without proof, the police dismissed it. No recordings, no license plate, just stories that no one wanted to believe. Still, the neighborhood changed. Kids stopped chasing the ice cream truck. Parents kept their doors locked after dark. The new truck parked across from Mia's house stayed there for days without moving, no one ever seeing the new driver step out. Then, one morning, it was gone, vanished, like it had never been there. Weeks passed, and summer drifted into fall. Life slowly returned to normal, but Mia and Jay kept in touch, bonded by Summit.